I haven't done one of these since Ryan here, and today, so yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, I haven't done one of these types of videos in almost a week now. The Bristol night race is tomorrow night, so if you guys are interested, of course, I'm sure if you guys are watching this, you guys are probably interested in the Cup Series. Make sure you guys tune into that. Xfinity races tonight, so I'm going to be watching both of those, and probably won't be as active on Twitter tonight, but during the Cup race, I'm pretty active on Twitter, tweeting about the race, so feel free to check that out and follow me over there. But for now, we're going to be talking about some silly season news. Finally, we had a little bit of a calmer week for silly season, so I kind of decided to step back from doing the daily videos and decided to just kind of build up and wait for 1 week and do this kind of week in review type of video. The main news I was waiting for ended up coming out, which was Daniel Suarez announced that at least part of his plan for next year, which is he will not be at the Gaunt Brothers Racing number 96. I think last time I did a video, it was only rumored that he was going to be out, but he confirmed on his Twitter the other day in a video that he will not be returning to the number 96. I would say all signs pretty much point him to the 43 because I think he's got the most funding of the drivers that have not confirmed already that they will not be there. And he also brings in that that foreign background that team owner Andrew Merstein has kind of mentioned how he's been looking at what he's been looking to develop in that team. Hence why they had Amarola, a Cuban American driver, Bubba Wallace now they're the only African American driver, and now potentially the only Mexican in the top 3 series in NASCAR. So that could be a pretty good landing spot. I think that's probably where he will end up landing. But I think the bigger news swirling around now is what happens with the 96 team and what ends up happening with a lot of that. Because that kind of reopened up a lot of the silly season discussions that I thought were pretty much done about Bubba Wallace to Toyota. Because I thought that was pretty much done when he left Richard Petty Motorsports. Because I don't really understand how much Toyota would be interested in Bubba Wallace at a brand new team versus Bubba Wallace at a Richard Petty Motorsports team that's switching. Because at least Richard Petty Motorsports, I mean, you're not going to downgrade by bringing Richard Petty Motorsports to Toyota. I mean, they're going to, at the very least, improve from where they have been. I think it'll be similar to a, as I kind of said, I think that performance would have been, I think, a significant increase. I don't think it would have been a complete jump. I think maybe around where Matt DiBenedetto or is. I think that would have been about where that 96 or where the 43 would have landed in terms of competitiveness with Bubba Wallace. With the rumors about him in the 96, while he does bring an estimated 15 to 20 million in sponsorship to that ride, assuming that's where he ends up signing, and assuming that would include an increased Joe Gibbs stake, I just don't see a complete startup team pretty much. I mean, this is their first year attempting to run full time. They don't have a charter. I just don't see that being a situation for Bubba Wallace to really succeed if that's where he goes. Even with the Joe Gibbs technical alliance, I feel like it's going to take a few years to build up. And at that point, he might as well have just stayed with Richard Petty Motorsports if they could have gotten a Hendrick alliance or even a Ganassi alliance. So I honestly don't think that would even be a good move at this point for Bubba Wallace, because I just don't think that team has the stability there. And if he underperforms for 2-3 years, he could leave and that team could shut down. And again, it wouldn't necessarily be a Joe Gibbs problem. It would be a fact that they would be putting a lot of chips on Bubba Wallace staying there, kind of like what Richard Petty Motorsports has done the last few years, where, I mean, they were pretty much all in on Bubba Wallace or having to really dig for a pay driver, which I think is where they're going to end up now. I think if it's Andrew Merstein's decision, and assuming Suarez brings enough funding, I think that will be who gets that ride. If not, I could see Ty Dillon getting that ride assuming the 13 does shut down, which they've talked about how they're looking to sell at the end of the season. But yeah, and then the Hamlin team news about that. I'd rather see Bubba go to the 48, but now Larson's name is being thrown around as the top candidate there, but still no confirmation there. I'm still skeptical that he doesn't already have a deal pretty much inked with Stewart Haas already, and I think that's a better landing spot. Even a Stewart Haas affiliate car or a Stewart Haas Xfinity ride, I think it's still better for Larson than a Hendrick Motorsports number 48 car, because I think undoubtedly he would be a third or fourth string driver at that team, because right now Elliott's obviously the number one string when Johnson retires. Then I would almost say it's a toss-up probably between Bowman and Byron for that second tier spot on who gets the better equipment. And then you really have pretty much a fourth place with whoever that fourth driver ends up being, unless it's a driver that either brings a lot of sponsorship or has some real worth to him. So yeah, I think that will be the spot. I'm still very skeptical that Larson goes to the 48. Also, trying to place Erik Jones at that point would also become murky. I'd almost say Jones to the 96 would probably be my preferred spot, even though I would hate to see Jones dip down that far. If it does get that enhanced technical alliance, it could just be a sloppier way of essentially trading Bell for Jones in the main team and then moving the other one to an affiliate team. Now, despite that, there is a lot of talks about because I haven't heard that much about Jones recently, so I'd almost question about if that is where he would end up. So yeah, I'd say for Jones it's pretty much a toss up on where he ends up and who values him as a driver versus the lack of money that I feel like he probably doesn't have, because I feel he doesn't have a whole lot of funding behind him. Yeah, so that's, I think, pretty much most of the news from this week was mainly about Daniel Suarez's ride opening up and then reopening the Bubba Wallace to Toyota rumors. I do not think Bubba Wallace goes to the Toyota team. I just don't see what's there that would have interested Joe Gibbs. I don't see if Joe Gibbs was seriously still interested in this deal. I just don't see why the talks didn't continue with Richard Petty. I mean, unless there was some kind of thing where Richard Petty refused to swap to Toyota, but then again, I don't think the talks would have gotten as far as they have. If that was the discussion. Yeah, so I do not really see the behind-the-scenes logic at RPM for that. But then again, I haven't really understood the logic in quite a few of their moves the last 2 decades. So, I mean, even looking back at them now, I don't really see the logic in a lot of their moves. So, yeah, that would probably be the. So I'm thinking maybe Jones to the 96. Bubba Wallace, I think, goes to the. Goes to either the 42 or 48, because I am starting to wonder, because they haven't announced a deal yet, I would almost question whether that'll end up being a seat that he has, because supposedly they've rescinded the offer to Bubba Wallace for that 42 car from what I've heard from other reporters, so apparently that offer isn't quite as there as it was before, so I think 50-50 split on where Bubba goes. I think Dylan, I don't know really where he lands, but I think he'll land on his feet somewhere with RCR support. Maybe he'll end up at the 00. But I think Daniel Suarez is the 43, and yeah. So, very kind of calm news week after a lot of news with Auto Club becoming a short track. Bubba Wallace leaving Richard Petty Motorsports. Germain Racing rumors about shutting down. I mean, there was just news after news after news announcement. Jimmy Johnson's going IndyCar racing. new IndyCar track, which I'm not even going to talk about because I'm more of a NASCAR channel. I do a lot more NASCAR content than anything else. So, but yeah, there's a new track coming to Nashville for IndyCar. But yep, that's about all we have time though for in this video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new so you guys don't miss an episode. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there's a Patreon link down below in the description. If you guys are interested in that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Other than that, that's pretty much everything. So I'll see you guys in the next video, live stream, or whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye!